Hello, hello, everybody. Yes, forgive me for being about 5 minutes late on our noon chat, lunchtime chat today, but I just wanted to take a moment to get myself ready, get all set up, and you guys see me back here in my t-shirt, which means I am getting ready to go for another walk today. So a quick tidbit as some of you guys are joining on, are working, are watching this on the replay. Hey Shirley, I forgot what my tidbit was. Oh, here's my tidbit as folks are joining on. I love nature. I think it's the California girl in me, but nothing gives me greater joy than being outside amongst trees, amongst nature. I'm not a gym person, and if you know me in real life, you know that I'm not a fitness person at all. Like, not at all. So one of the ways that I'm working on meeting my goals of physical wellness is by getting out and taking a walk. It's something easy, it's something I can manage, it's something that's good on my joints, it's what I'm doing. So thank you for joining me today. For those of you guys that don't know me, I'm Aaliyah Mims of AaliyahMims.com. I am a 17-year education veteran. I work with teachers as a middle school principal. In addition to that, I work with education leaders, helping them to monetize their passion. How can you make money with the talents that you have as a leader? Also, helping them to get unstuck about what are the things that are holding them back from walking fully in their purpose. And then lastly, I help them to level up in their position. So a lot of times, especially as women, we play really small and we have a limiting belief about what we can accomplish and about what we how we can serve. So I help those women to be able to figure out what are the obstacles that they're facing and how can they overcome them so they can truly live out their goals and their passion and rise up in their position and power. So that's a little bit about me. And if you are new, this is your first time joining me live, I always tell people that I'm dual streaming from both Periscope and Facebook Live in my private community, Soul Tribe for Leaders. So you might see me looking back and forth at two different screens, and that's the reason why. So, we ready to get in? Shirley, are you here with me? Anybody else here with me? Let's go ahead and dive in. So originally when I thought about today's topic, I was just going to be doing a series last week on my Get Clear, Get Real, Get Intentional in 2017. And I thought that I would just leave it, do that 1 week training and be done with it. But I've gotten an overwhelming response of women that have found it extremely helpful. People have been filling up my discovery call sessions this week, so much so that I had to open up yet another day. I was only planning on doing, I think I told the ladies originally, 2 days of calls. And then here I am. I think I've opened up 2 additional days since I originally started that. So I'll tell you about how you can access that at the end. Really short, really quick. It's if you go to AaliyahMims.com/coaching, hit the apply now button. That's how you can get in contact with me. So I was just going to do this 1 week of how can you get clear, how can you get intentional, how can you make sure that you are really focusing on the right things in 2017. And there's just all this momentum, and I realized I had so much more to say. You guys are showing up. I want to continue showing up for you. And the reality is that, you know, when January 1st comes around, people are pumped up. People are like, yes, this is going to be my best year. You see all of the memes, new year, new you, all of these things are happening, and the energy is really positive. But I see 2 big mistakes that a lot of people are making. Either one, they're creating these New Year's resolutions that are based on wishful thinking that, you know, I'm going to lose 50 pounds this year. I'm going to save $5,000. I'm going to drink 8 cups of water. I'm going to do all of these things, and the intentions are always in the right place, but they haven't, created a plan about how they're going to accomplish those things. They haven't taken into account whether or not those are the right goals that they should be having for them. And then also they're creating these goals in a vacuum instead of looking at what didn't work in the previous year. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about how do you look at your failures and use them as an opportunity to level up and to get stronger in your goals for this year. So first, I always like to tell you guys, because I believe in being transparent, in case you haven't noticed, no makeup today. I'm probably not going to wear makeup until I go back to work. I'm in my t-shirt. I'm just like to be real because you guys are real with me, so I'm going to be real with you. So this past summer, I had an opportunity to participate or to be accepted into an organization for veteran principals, helping them to stay being principals. That's one thing. Urban principals have a tenure of 3 years or 2.5 years or something like that, which means that after about 2.5, 3 years, we leave the profession because the work is really, really hard, and because we aren't always developed in our strengths. So there was this prestigious organization here in Dallas, Texas, that allowed veteran principals who had proven results at their schools to apply. And the two-prong focus of this organization is to, one, keep us developed and growing in our profession. So even though I'm always developing y'all, I believe in development for myself as well. And then also, how can we innovate how education is delivered to our students? And so we have to create a project over these 2 years to innovate learning in our schools, and then to coach other principals in it. So what was interesting to me is when I went into this project, you guys should know that I told you guys the other day, I'm a Virgo. I can be very type A. I can be very focused and sometimes tunnel vision about the way I approach things. And so this program really pushed me out of my comfort zone, because it was teaching us how to innovate using the design theory. I'm not going to get into the whole information about design theory. Just know that it's a system to be able to create and prototype ideas, test them out, and move forward. And it completely pushed me out of my comfort zone. Y'all, they had us on, I think the first week that we did the training for it, we had to innovate. How will we change? Thank you, Shirley, so much for taking notes down in the comments. I forgot to say it today, so you're really helping me out by dropping the notes down in the bottom. In the first week, they had us design a solution to downtown Dallas pedestrian issues. And so we're like, what? How do we even know what the problems are? How are we going to figure out what the problems are? And so we had to do these different tests to figure different types of experiences to be able to figure out what the issues are. We had to follow pedestrians, we had to interview people we didn't know, we had to do all of these things that took us completely out of our comfort zone. And so if you can know anything about principals, we are, in charge of so many adults in our buildings that we have to be very controlled and focused. So asking a group of principals to literally dropped us off in downtown Dallas and said, now go interview these people, be back in an hour. We were like clutching pearls, where's our research? Where's our clipboards? All this kind of stuff. They gave us a piece of paper and was like, that's it. Hey, T, thank you for joining. So we were like, oh my God, this is so odd and so awkward. But we went and did it. And we interviewed people, and we got to find out a lot about what the pedestrian issues were in downtown Dallas. And so why do I tell you that first step? The first step was really around, sometimes we think we know what the problem is, but it really isn't. We thought the problem originally was around traffic and about it being too hot, because downtown Dallas in summertime is 100 degrees is cool weather. And so we found out that really what the issue was around people connection, both upper class people and lower class people. I shouldn't say lower class people, but people that appear to be in poverty, homeless, hanging out in the parks, etc. They all felt that the biggest issue was lack of connection. So first step, homework number one, when you're trying to review what went wrong for you in the last year, actually take some time to investigate what assumptions were you going into that goal with. So that's homework number one, or step number one. Investigate what were your assumptions about how that goal was going to happen. What was your assumptions about why that goal was important? Because really getting clear about what your assumptions were sometimes will illuminate where you went off track. So that's number one. So Shirley, if you're still here, go ahead and drop that down as step number one. Investigate your assumptions. So we investigated our assumptions. We found out that the issue was a completely different thing altogether. And so we were really pumped up around. So now we had to create a solution. And so when we created, we were really creative, y'all. We had Post-it notes all over this room. We were designing. They gave us crayons and markers and clay and styrofoam and stuff that, again, like I said, as principals, that we do not do. Hey, Jaquel, thank you for joining. And Shirley's being our note taker today, so thank you so much, Shirley. So she's going ahead and dropping the key points in the comments. And T, this is your first time, so we're getting real, getting comfortable. And I forgot to tell you guys to take out your pen and paper to take notes, but the comments will be the place where we put our thoughts and notes, and we can go back and review those later. And if you're watching on the replay, you guys know I will come back and comment and respond to you as well. So so I was saying that in this organization, they had us crafting principles. This is not what we get paid to do. This is not what we thought we were signing up for. We're trying to innovate schools and change public education. And they had us with crafts in a room and said, design a solution for this downtown Dallas pedestrian issue. And it required us to get a little bit silly. And it also, beyond getting silly and getting creative, it pushed us completely out of our comfort zone. So we had a time limit and we had to come up with a solution. And as soon as we had a solution, she would say, okay, scratch that. Now come up with another solution. Scratch that, now come up with another solution. And on top of that, she gave us these how might I solve this problem to make downtown Dallas the best experience ever? How might I make this the most important thing in people's lives? How might I make this as fun as going to a Beyonce concert? So really have to stretch beyond the limitations that we had that we put in place, and how we were allowed to truly be creative and to truly visualize throughout, beyond what seems silly, to create this vision of what could possibly be possible. So how might I change the downtown experience if I had $5 million? So just that exercise of considering all of the possibilities, no matter how crazy, silly, outlandish, whatever it is, truly considering all of the possibilities and not limiting yourself based on your current circumstances, your current money, your current level of expertise. So step number 2, when you're creating these goals, is to really push yourself beyond what you think is possible. Push yourself beyond the limitations that you see in front of yourself. So we created these silly things. I think my group project, we had one that was, we created this downtown Dallas experience where it was going to be like game zones, and there was going to be a place for people to borrow computers, and people were going to play chess, and we were going to have concerts in the park. And we created this whole outlandish thing using styrofoam, pipe cleaner, and what do you call those things? Clothespins. And so we had fun, we had music going, and we created this different thing, and we had to present it to ourselves. We're like, oh yeah, that person's idea was funny. Somebody else had like a walking mister that would follow people around and miss them. And when you push the button, you can find out how to get to the different museums. And so there were all these silly ideas. And so we're like, oh, that was so much fun. Guess what? They said, now you got to go outside and go pitch it to people. Record scratch? You already had us playing with Play-Doh and pipe cleaners as grown 40-something adults, most of us. You already had us interviewing strangers, including people who seemed homeless, including people that seemed under the influence, including, we were interviewing police, we were interviewing all these people. Now you want us to go outside and talk to people about these silly ideas? How are we going to actually do this? Like this, it just felt so uncomfortable. But we had to do it. They pushed us out the building and they said, come back in an hour and tell us what you learned from pitching these ideas to people. Later on, I'm going to put in the group the video of my group pitching our downtown experience to complete strangers. Can I tell you guys for real what happened? So we were like, okay, this is going to be awkward. So we went outside and went down to the park where we were closest to, and we started calling people around saying, hey, come here, let me show you my idea. Y'all, before it was over, we had music playing from my iPhone, which was simulating the music that we wanted to have pumped through the park. We had a dance off between 2 teenagers and I think one of the principals. We had park people coming out. We had this whole crowd of people hyped about our idea. This was just, again, with styrofoam, pipe cleaners, and clothespins, and my iPhone. And we had people pumped up about the idea. And so beyond it pushing us out of our comfort zone, it allowed us the opportunity to actually test out our solutions. Now, here's the thing that is the most applicable to you. A lot of times when we are coming up with solutions and goals, we don't view them as prototypes. A prototype is simply your way of testing out a question or testing out an idea in order to get information. A lot of times we see our goals as they have to be it. They have to be the solution. They have to be the thing that is going to take us to the proverbial promised land. And we don't see it as a trial. We don't see it as, let me test out this theory that I have about losing weight, about stop smoking, about monetizing my passion, about trying out a new career. We don't see our goals as truly prototypes. And instead, we put all of this emotional stock into our goals. Hey, Daphne. And so when they don't quite go the way that we want them, when nobody buys that course, when you get that rejection letter, when you fall off the wagon from stop smoking, when your diet lasts a whole day, we start to feel like failure, and we start to create all of this emotional garbage around what it might mean. We're not good enough. I told you I didn't have any stamina. I knew this wasn't the right goal. Who do I think I am to try to monetize my business? Who do I think I am to go for that position? And we create this whole script and this whole story around not meeting our goals because we don't see it as prototyping. And so my challenge for you is, instead of putting all of this emotional weight into a goal, I want you to shift your thinking to seeing goals as prototypes. Goals as a way to test out a question that you have. So this is what it might look like. Instead of saying, I'm going to lose 50 pounds this year in 2017, I want you to say, what is one way that I might experience physical wellness? And then you can start to draft the how might I. Maybe I will join a gym. Maybe I will get a walking partner. Maybe I will join a fitness group. Maybe I will reward myself $5 for every pound lost. Maybe, so you start to generate these ideas and then you simply test them out. So you're going to try out joining a gym. You join a gym. Thank you, Shirley. You join a gym. You go for a week or you don't go for a week. Instead of beating yourself up and saying, oh my God, I knew I was never going to join a gym this year and I was never going to meet that goal. You can say, oh, that test didn't work. This is the part that did work. I did realize that I do like to wake up early in the morning. I also realized something else, that I really don't like leaving my home. So you start to, the more that you see your goals as prototypes, then you can start to get really good information from it. You get to see what works, and you also get to see what doesn't work. You get to see the aspects of your goal that is truly aligned and putting you closer to your goals. Another thing that when you are seeing your goals as prototypes is that you are able to really concentrate on the end result that you want instead of creating a goal around the process that you're going to take. So when you create your goals, I want you to think about, are you focusing on the outcome? Or are you focusing on the process? Because where I see people also going off track is that they're concentrating on the process and they're putting a lot of emotional stock in the process. If your goal is to impact 100 people this year, that's the goal. The process are all of the different things that you're going to test out to get there. Maybe it's going to be coaching 100 people. Maybe it's going to be mentoring 50 people. Maybe it's going to be a speaking engagement where you get to impact 100 people all at once. So make your goals be the outcome and then prototype the process to get there. And so another thing that I want you to do is look back on the goals that you had from this past year. Were they actually outcome goals or were they process goals? Because and I would venture to say a lot of times people create goals that are actually processes and then they feel bad when that process doesn't work. So go back and look over what you did last year and see what could you have learned from it. What did you learn about what does work and what does feel right? What did you learn about the true outcomes that you're looking for and the results that you're looking for? And then how do you take what didn't work and build on it? So going back to my story about how we were as principals, we were out in the park. We were out in the park feeling extremely silly and extremely just like out of our comfort zone with pitching this idea to people. What we found is that the thing that people really liked the most was the music, and they liked interacting, like dancing and things like that. The thing they didn't really care about, which was a surprise to us, was the ability to rent free mobile devices and have free Wi-Fi. What they actually said was that they didn't want free Wi-Fi in the park or free devices because it would make people be, absorbed in their technology and not actually interacting with people. So instead of us going back to the drawing board and saying, oh my God, we feel like failures because they didn't like our idea, we were able to look at it and say, oh, this is the idea that they did like. This is an aspect of it that didn't work. Again, it's not emotional. I dropped the link earlier in the group from the 7 failures of Starbucks. And when we think about Starbucks, we think about a very successful organization, and we wouldn't necessarily equate them with failure. But again, what that article reiterates is that they also tried things that do not work. But it doesn't mean that they're failures. It just means that they got information from it about what did work, and they were able to clarify their path and clarify their processes. Exactly, the SWOT. So for those of you guys that aren't familiar with the business term, SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you look back at your 2016 goals, and say, what were the strengths of it? What worked? What was really strong about it? And then what were the weaknesses? What more opportunities do they illuminate? What opportunity do they show? And then what were some of the threats, or what were some of the things that were working against it, or what were some of the obstacles that were working against it? Because once you SWOT your goals, as we call it, then you can again create another way forward. So thank you, Shirley, for reminding us of that. And so, let me take a deep breath. I'm obviously all pumped up about this. And so I lost my train of thought. Starbucks, about looking at the failures and seeing them as opportunities to move forward. That's really it. I'm really excited about this year. I'm excited about working with you all, and I'm really excited because I see a lot of times we are the ones that are holding us back, and we're the ones that are standing in our own way, and not standing in our own way because we're creating self-sabotaging behavior, but that is another story for another time, but really standing in our way about limiting our beliefs about what is accomplishable, and also standing in our way about creating all of this emotional weight to our progress. If you're here, if you are walking every single day, taking one small step towards your goals, then you are on the side to keep moving and to keep winning and to keep succeeding in 2017. I was about to say 2016. So before I hop off, do I have any questions or any thoughts? I realize there might be some out there, so I'm gonna take a moment. I also realized, excuse me, that this is on a delay. I think it took me a couple of days to realize that there's a slight delay. So I was always hopping off really quickly and didn't give people a full opportunity to ask their questions. Well, then that's it for me today. I really encourage you guys to watch the replay. And like I shared earlier in the call, you guys have been on fire with activating your goals for this year, and on fire with wanting to really rise up in 2017 and walk in your purpose. And I would love to support you in that. Thank you, Shirley. And so if you are ready to prototype your dreams and to create solutions and to test out what is working and what isn't working, I invite you to work with me. I'm giving away complimentary sessions. I should say giving away. I'm creating an opportunity for complimentary sessions to work with me. And you can access that at bit.ly/Aaliyah Mims Apply. The A is capitalized, the M is capitalized, and the second A in apply is capitalized. bit.ly/capital A for Aaliyah, capital M Mims, and capital A apply. Oh, this is one thing I was going to give you guys too. So I've been talking about this guide that I have for you guys about how to monetize your passion in 2017. I am just about ready. That should be ready in the next couple of hours. By 5 o'clock today, I'm working on having that ready. So thank you guys so much for joining me. It's always awesome to connect with y'all. I'm prototyping, getting on here every day and delivering you guys some great content, no matter if I have on makeup, no matter if I'm wearing my t-shirt, just giving you something bite-sized to keep going in the day. And I am extremely thankful for y'all for joining, and I cannot wait to connect with you on the individual calls that I've been having, and you guys can join me here again. Tomorrow, I will have a different time that I'll post in the group because what am I doing tomorrow? Internet connection, braces, Invisalign appointment, all that good stuff. And so it'll be slightly off tomorrow, but I'll let you guys know the time. Love you, ladies. See you guys soon.